Hi, thank you for tuning in to Communities Conversations with Dr. Liddell Lewis. We are live in the studio today with no one other than Mr. Johnell Allen-Bey. Hello, Mr. Allen-Bey.
Good morning, or is it afternoon? I've been working all day. I don't know what it is.
It is a good day.
I love Thirsty Thursdays.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And we want to talk a little bit about Nation Outside.
Okay.
Now, we know that you wear so many hats in the community. You are a county ambassador.
Yeah.
You are a phenomenal dad and granddad and husband. Had to throw that in there, too.
Somebody needs to say that for me to validate that.
And then you have... she say, he say?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you are also a major stakeholder in Nation Outside. So
Executive coordinator, senior executive coordinator for Nation Outside for the Flint region, yeah.
Okay, so if you don't mind, tell us a little bit, what is Nation Outside?
So Nation Outside is a grassroots organization that's ran by formerly justice impacted people. It was founded in 2012 by 7 people who were formerly incarcerated, who knew that something had to change based on what they had experienced in their life as being returning citizens. And so they came up with this concept, right? And the whole objective was to be able to tear down barriers that face people who are justice impacted. And there's over 80 million returning citizens in our country. That's a big number, right? So, and it's growing every day because every day someone is going to come home.
So if you don't mind, just real quick, let's unpack a couple of words.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, they may not know what we are discussing.
Okay.
So when you mention someone that's justice impact,
Right.
What is that?
So that means a person who has been in front of a judge or been arrested some time in their life, or maybe a OWI to...
OWI is what?
Operating while intoxicated.
Okay.
Which is a misdemeanor. But so it doesn't matter about being in prison. Mm-hmm. It's about being arrested and fingerprinted and ran through the process of the judicial system. And that's what we call returning citizens.
Okay. So thank you for breaking that down.
Yeah.
So back to you.
I am a returning citizen.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, would you like to share a little bit about why you are participating with Nation Outside?
Like I said, it was very important. I was incarcerated up until 2018. 2016, something remarkable happened in my life. A person named Ronald Simpson Bey, which was a part of this organization that I'm in, came inside to the prison. And to see him come inside and be able to reach back and gave me hope that I could do something out here. I could be productive. And so I'll tell people the first thing Nation Outside do is it instills confidence that you belong. Because if you don't have the confidence to believe that you belong in society, then you're going to go back to what you're comfortable doing.
Correct.
Wrong. And so that was important. And once I got into the organization, I found we had a great need in the city of Flint. Half our population in our city has something on their record. So it used to be 47,000. The number that number was founded in 2019. So it's probably a little bit more than that now.
Okay, so I just want to be clear. So when you say 47,000, you're talking about 47,000 residents?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, because I know that the latest census data said that we have 81,000 people.
Right, so that's why I said it's probably more now. It's more than half the population.
Wow.
Which leads to the next situation. What I want to talk about is fair housing.
Mm-hmm.
So with that type of number being discriminated against for housing, what happens to that population? Where are they? Where can they live? I could not rent. I could not find a place to rent. Definitely wasn't my credit score that stopped it, or me making money.
What did they tell you?
I was told that because of the nature of my crime, they would felt comfortable not renting to me. And I was forced to get a mortgage and be able to go that route. But everybody's not that fortunate. And so it was very important to come up with something better than what it was. And we worked on something called the Nation Outside Guarantee, where we do tenant training for it's 6 weeks. We established from financial literacy to everything to walking you through how to be able to build your credit up, right? And how to be a tenant. We take that for granted, right?
Right.
But you've lived around people that move in your neighborhoods, you be like, hey, where they learn how to live? The terminology when I was incarcerated, we'd be like, well, you learned to jail, you know? So it's the same concept. You know, what are y'all doing? You know,
Right.
You don't take care of your yard. You know, you park your car on the grass. You know,
That's it. The party started at 10 p.m.
right? And so, but we do this training, and the guarantee is that we found a way to bond the person that's certified to be a tenant with a $30,000 bond and a guarantee that if anything happened within 48 hours, this person will be off your property, which is huge. Because when we did surveys around Genesee County with landlords, the most important thing they was about is getting their money.
Right.
Everybody want to make their money, which it wasn't bad. So that's why Section 8 is so big in our society, because when
Guaranteed.
you cook up, then you know you got your money coming.
Guaranteed.
Right? Guaranteed money. And that's where this concept of Nation Outside Guarantee came from. And right now it's very successful. We got a pilot that's happened. We're looking to do more in the future to be able to train more people to be tenants.
Okay, so you train them to be tenants,
Yeah.
and then that's all. Is there?
No, it's a follow through.
Okay.
It's a follow through where you're linked with what we call a peer mentor coach, because we believe that when a person is invested in you, you do better. When
Right.
a person is there to support you and be able to, sometimes we need encouragement as humans. And they encourage you, you know, to make sure that everything is tight. Make sure that those days that you don't quite understand why you working, then it starts to make sense why you working, so that you can be have a house and be self-sufficient in this society. So.
Okay. So I heard two things. So the first thing I heard was tenant training.
Absolutely.
And then the second thing is you receive a mentor.
Absolutely.
All right. So is there any financial backing?
Well, we solicit some partners, some people who are in the community who actually knew the need for this here. And the first two people that came up was Sheriff Chris Wassa. That was important to him to do this. And Sheldon Banks. These are people who put their money where their mouth is. And I always say, you know, where you put your money is where your heart is.
Right.
And they did. They stepped up to it. We started to see others that said, we like the concept. I don't like to grow things too big until after we can see and grasp it right here in our own community, and then we can make the world know how great it is. But it has to work, I believe, right now here. And I'm a big advocate about push and flip, you know,
Right.
to make sure that it's birth here. We've been able to do a lot of things with Nation Outside. We, of course, you know, the first expungement fair that we had broke records. It was legendary that what we did. Never seen it done before on campus. People walked away free. So it's that kind of thinking that we do.
But when you say walked away free, I want people to grasp what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what do you mean when you say that people walked away free? What happened?
Well,
what did Nation Outside do?
Well, we worked with the prosecutor's office. We worked with judges. We worked with attorneys. Salute to our black attorneys in Genesee County. We love y'all. Y'all did y'all thing. They stepped up. Because that's a major part of it. I looked through 8,000 pages. There were 361 felony convictions in Genesee County.
All right. So
This is the number I just told you.
Okay. So were they expunged?
Not all of them, but that gives you an ideal of the impact it has on the community.
Okay.
Right? That number there is huge. Now, not that that was that big, but there's people that have, we got people that got 20 felonies on them.
Right.
So you can put it in perspective, but still that's a large number.
Right.
Especially with a county that's like, I think our latest number is 460. We got 460,000 residents in the county. Like as you alluded to earlier, 80 to 87,000 residents in the city of Flint.
Right.
So those are the numbers we're working with.
Wow.
And it was important that the process beforehand, it was that you could get one felony taken off, but it was like, who can only have one felony? And what you had to go through in order to get it off was just ridiculous. So no one really got it off unless you was rich,
right?
Because it usually could charge about $25,000 to retain an attorney to do it. And it was a lot of pushback when we started this initiative. Nation Outside came to Flint. We started talking to people, letting people understand what was going on. And I remember someone telling me in 2019, man, y'all crazy. This will never happen. Now it's up to 3 felonies and unlimited misdemeanors. It's a law. 6 weeks ago, the automatic kicked in. So people sitting at home and they thought they got a refund check, but it wasn't. It was from the state telling you don't have that on your record no more.
Wow.
Automatic process. But to answer your question about walking away free, the first time that it's ever happened where you had judges, prosecutors on one area, which was a yard of the jail. Mm-hmm. You could walk in, you could get fingerprint. We broke the Guinness Book of World Record for most prints done in one day. And you could get printed, and you could go through the process. Within an hour, if you were eligible, you were free. And we had a bell that you would ring, right? The freedom bell.
I remember.
And, one lady, the C, that, she was a CNA, and she was restricted, couldn't do nothing because, there was a teacher
right.
that had something on her record and wasn't able to, had a master's and was working at a convenience store, couldn't do anything because she was stuck for the last 8 years. Mm-hmm. And to look at their faces and where they went and what they were able to accomplish, right? I mean, I'll never forget that day. It was surreal. We had everybody from the governor all the way down to the AG in Flint watching this thing happen. And it was scary because we had a bomb scare. Mm. They had a bomb scare, man. I'm like, damn. I ain't never had a bomb scare, so
right,
I'm trying to figure out, I got to keep my poise, right?
Right.
But we got through it. And so that's some of the things that Nation Outside has been able to do. We've been able to be certified peer mentor now. That's what we do. We started off with 25 members in 2018. Today we're over 7,000 throughout and growing.
It is throughout the state of Michigan?
Yes.
That's amazing.
7,000. Flint has the biggest number. Our last number, our raw numbers was about 300 on roster in Flint. We rock in Flint to do our thing. Need that support. Okay. We have to have that support in our community. I get calls every day. Somebody calls me every day because of the fact they got some kind of issue, and we've been able to help a lot of people. But if we don't get the help in our own community,
right,
which we help in our own community, which sometimes it's frustrating because you're like, hold on. There was 109 people who were locked up as juveniles, and we were able to work hard to get them back home and get them acclimated back into society. Now, a lot of people will push back and say, well, man, they criminals. But I always ask somebody, how do you want that person returned to you? And what if it was your own son or daughter? What if it was your brother What was it with your mother? What was it your father? How would you feel?
Correct.
Right? Because I was one of those. I was incarcerated. I had a second-degree murder. Nobody wanted to deal with me because of the fact that, this guy here, he's been gone all those years. Who can he be? How productive can he be, right?
Right.
And so it's a testimony for me to be here, to be the spokesperson for that that there's nothing impossible. But we need organizations like Nation Outside to be able to invest in their people, to give them the right platform.
Okay, so how can people...
And you're a part of Nation Outside too. Don't try to act like you. I don't know where your shirt at. I got to get you a badge or something.
Please do. Yeah, a card carrying member.
Yeah, a card carrying member.
Absolutely.
Before there was city council, before any of that stuff, when you came back, you just loved the people. You jumped on board Nation Outside.
And nothing's changed.
All right.
So what about others that may want to join Nation Outside or support Nation Outside? How can they do that?
Well, first of all, you could... look on our website, Nation Outside. You can Google us, Nation Outside. Every fourth Thursday of the month, we're at our library downtown. So Ozone Currency, next door to Central. We're there from 6 to 7:30. Y'all know it's a big year for voting. So we do a lot of things in voting. We pushed an initiative about people that were incarcerated voting. It was important because our last election, we actually had 10,000 people that were in our county jails in the 82 counties who were eligible to vote. That's a big number.
Right.
You've been a part of some of our town halls that we've held in the jail, sponsored by Nation Outside. We've been able to do a whole bunch of things. Now the people who are elected officials, they no longer just walk by the jail. They ask to come into jail because you have an audience that's there. I think we have 400 right now that are eligible voters ready to vote. So that 400, that's a big number in a town like Flint. So don't forget about our people.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, because that can make or break
Absolutely.
an election. Okay, and so I want to go back real quick to the Fair Chance Housing Act.
Yes.
Because Nation Outside came before council.
Absolutely.
All right, and so
A year ago.
A year ago, and this should have been handled probably a year ago.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So when you came before council, what exactly are you looking for council to do in terms of the Fair Chance Housing Guarantee?
We're asking for our council and the city to be able to invest in their residents. Because of the fact, those numbers I gave you, those are residents, those are voters, those are people who have elected those officials in those offices. And they need an opportunity to be able to live in these places and to tear down the barriers. And with this initiative, it will be able to help us with that guarantee. And the unique thing about it is we never believe that the money will be touched.
Right.
Because of the fact, but we do need it on the back end for that bond to make sure that we're able to do the things so that landlords are comfortable.
Right.
But personally, we haven't used any of the funds. And my vision is that we'll put it in escrow, and in another 5 years afterwards, we'll be able to return that money back to the city with interest to show that this worked. We didn't have to use the money, but yet we grew the money that you invested in us.
Right. So not using the money isn't a bad thing. A lot of times whenever we give money back, we're looking like, oh, man, we gave money back, but this is a good return of the money.
Right, because it's going to benefit your community and be able to make it stronger, make it safer. There are statistics out there that says when a person has value, they're less likely to do criminal things. And the value is a home, right? One of the proudest things that I have is when I pull in my driveway, I know I'm going to my home. And I think that every person should be able to be afforded that opportunity.
And you're absolutely right. Because we know that the common citizen, they have a hard time finding housing. So we already know that returning citizens are faced with a greater challenge.
Yeah.
And hopefully, council, we will be able to bring that resolution back before the body and vote on it, because was the hang up. We didn't have anyone to enforce the Fair Housing Act, the policy.
Okay.
So we didn't have a board. We didn't have anyone to hear it out. So it'd just be, we passed the policy, but it has no teeth. It has no anything.
Right.
So what we've been doing, we've been working in the background to make sure that we have the people in place that are going to be responsible for hearing these fair chance housing cases. So we can have some teeth behind, if landlords are being discriminative, then we can act.
And I've worked with other counties throughout Michigan, the established boards, and the ones that have Washington County is one of my favorite counties because of the fact that they're so innovative in their thinking. They've got a board, and there's a penalty and a fine for any discriminative acts that you could prove that you were discriminated about. There's a penalty.
Well, wait a minute. I have to ask you this. So what do you mean a penalty for discriminative acts? You mean like for council people, if council people are being discriminative, or?
No, we're talking about landlords.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
We're talking about landlords if they're discriminative to people who are just as impacted or not. Because the only thing you should be evaluating is this person employed, and do they have a decent enough credit score?
Right.
And most returning citizens fit in that category. Most are making over $20, $25. The one guy we did, he had a 755 credit score. It made $100,000 a year, and couldn't get a place to stay. He was denied a place to stay. And the rent was only $680. It was only $680 for a studio apartment, which is absurd to me. So he was our spokesperson. Remember, he was one of the ones that got it, that we guaranteed. We talked to one of the big agencies, and once we guaranteed it, 7 days he was in a place. And that was in March. He hasn't been late at all. Matter of fact, we've gotten calls and said, "Do you have any more tenants for us? Because we like that when they're used to this." So that's how successful the program's been.
Okay, all right.
But we need help.
All right. Well, you all hear this. You hear it here first. We want to make sure that we are securing adequate housing for our justice impact returning citizens.
Absolutely.
We want to make sure that we are standing in solidarity with the nation outside.
Absolutely.
As they are building new beginnings for our returning citizens.
And I got a surprise. So we've been working on something a little more powerful, because we know that generational wealth starts with home ownership. So we're working on an initiative right now, and I shouldn't unveil it, but I'm going to unveil it with Land Bank, where they're going to use some of our tenants who are more seasoned, that's been out, and they would be doing land contracts with them, where they would be homeowners.
Wow.
So this is an extension to what's about to happen after a person has gotten through that first phase.
Right.
The second phase is home ownership. If you're sure that I'm a good steward on the front end, my rent's been paid consistently, for a year or two, it's to the next stage, is to be able to help you with that home ownership. So that's the next phase of it. And all the concept is a Nation Outside Guarantee.
This is amazing. And so, but you also have some other news. I know it's not about housing, but you do have a little bit of sneak peek breaking news, a little bit that you just want to give us a taste. Did you just want to give us a taste?
I can't be. I gave you that one. Now, if I give y'all another one, y'all might not be tuning in. Next time you call me over here, they might not bring me back if I release everything.
But listen, but you keep it coming. So I got a feeling they're going to tune in.
I'm just telling you. But we got something great on the horizon. We got 2 things happening. Be ready for spring.
Be ready for spring.
Be ready for spring.
All
We're
right.
gonna spring into action. How's that?
That's amazing. So
right.
Where can we find you?
Everywhere.
Okay.
Tennessee County Sheriff's Office. I'm the co-executive director for community engagement there. I'm reconnect my life. I'm there in the evenings. We're about to kick off this daycare, Ella Hughes Daycare Learning Center. February 16th, we're launching with especially on emotional intelligence. We got a nutritionist that's every child will have their own menu of what's going to help them be successful. We understand that what you eat is who you are. If you want to be a genius, or what your blood type is what you're supposed to be eating. Wow. And so we're taking it to a whole different level, a whole different concept of thinking. We believe that in 2034, those children who will come out of there will see great leaders in our community. We'll see scientists, we'll see doctors, we'll see judges, we'll see entrepreneurs, engineers, and they'll all come, and we'll remember the moment when we decided to really invest in our children. And invest in our children doesn't mean money. It's meaning making sure that I put everything in place for them to be successful, from what's taken in to what's given out, for what they're hearing and what they're taught.
Okay, so buying the new J's doesn't really count as being successful.
Well, if the J's encourage certain behavior, now I believe in, rewarding things, right? If you reward good, you can produce good. But I shouldn't get you no new J's if you ain't produced nothing. Just because you brushing your teeth and going to school don't mean that you're
That's not enough.
That's not extraordinary.
Oh, no. Well, we definitely. And what about Facebook? Any social media? How can they follow you?
Listen, y'all gotta. I'm not a real savvy dude. My wife does all of that. There, people be thinking, man, we see you all there. I got some people behind the scenes, and I give credit. My deputy director, Jennifer Johnson, does a great job doing that. Shantae, my wife, she does a great job. All I do is get in front of the camera. Would you like to light up? I do what I do. That's it. I don't know nothing else.
Very well. Well, what you do know is that you are doing amazing things in the city. And we're looking forward to the spring. I know I'm going to stay tuned.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to bringing you back to talk about another aspect of your life in which you are impacting the community. Maybe we can talk about your counseling business, how you are helping people become mentally well. Yeah,
I believe in, a therapist needs a therapist. So, I mean, it had been a stigma in our community, the Black community. We know that, right? But now churches are on board. We have people who are professors on board. And when you can look at somebody who looks like you, who've been through what you've been through, who understands what you go through,
right,
and has that answer for you to be able to tap into your own energy and figure this thing out, that's powerful.
Absolutely.
And I think we need to promote more of our people getting involved in it, and it's helped me, because I'm crazy.
That is true. But
you shouldn't use that term.
Well, let me tell you, it's for the good.
Yeah, I'm just making a joke,
So, you gotta make a disclaimer, joke.
Yeah.
Joke, okay.
Yeah. The ACA just hit me up, man. I don't know how they know something. American Counseling Association already on me.
Already. Well, listen, we thank you for your time.
Appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for having me. Thank you for allowing me, to come on your show. Thank you.
Absolutely, because we want to make sure that we keep pumping out great information into our community. So thank you for joining us, and tune in next time for the Community Conversations.